Well, we roll again. It's the Zoo Crew podcast. Andy Lindahl, Scott Hastings, recording this on Veterans Day, so happy, thank you. I don't know, happy
that's
Veterans
one of those
Day.
holidays
Does that sound weird?
Yeah, you don't say happy, right?
Thank you for your service is what we want to say. So.
We do appreciate, and we haven't forgot you. How's that?
No, we haven't forgot you. So no matter when you served, what time you served, so we do appreciate all of you.
Okay, now I want to start this podcast a little different.
Do you? Okay.
Because you just mentioned, perfect setup right here. That's why we're twin brothers of different mothers. One, you want to put your hat on so that we can do the podcast in our Boston Scully hats. Maybe this should be, you know what? If we ever get this thing working and we get it back broadcast over the air to what do we call it? Video?
Yeah.
This could be our thing. We could always wear a Boston Scully hat. See if Boston Scully wants to sponsor us.
We can reach out to them. The boys are short in their responses. I have interviewed them. They are Bostonites, you can tell.
Are they really? You've interviewed them?
Not interviewed them. I've emailed them.
Oh, really?
We've chatted back and forth.
Like to try to get them on the show or to get
sponsorship? I think you know that there's a legitimate person. It's not a bot when you buy the hats. They're a small company. They make cool hats. At least you and I think they're cool. And so they always ask, hey, what'd you think of your cap? What'd you think? Did it fit? Did it really? So I've emailed them back, and I go, hey, I liked it. It's great. And I told them one time, I said, you may not know this, but I've turned on my buddy, Scott Hastings, who played for the Pistons and beat up a few Celtics in the days. And,
yes, I did.
And so they got a big laugh out of that. But, again, they're Bostonites. Yeah. It's not a long conversation. They're Irish. I get it. It's called an Irish exit for a reason. Yeah. When you just duck out of a party and don't say goodbye. We're not always a chatty group.
We appreciate the money. Boom. See you later. Till the next time.
Hey, thank you for the Scott laugh.
But anyway, if we ever start videoing this again, then maybe this could be one of our things.
Yeah, we'll have to wear them.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to the pizza place, Southside Pizzeria. Well, please keep helping.
They keep asking about it. We could probably start doing it. But now we're in the busy season. We're in
I know.
Middle of the Broncos season. The Nuggets and NBA start over. Anyway, as you mentioned, November 11th is when we are taping this. So Veterans Day. I cussed the warden out today.
Really? That's why we're at my house?
Well, no. I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't really a cuss out, but I damned her.
Some stern words.
I damned her.
Okay.
I got my first cry in on a Hallmark movie today. She's already got me on November 11th. I'm already watching. I stayed up last night, the 10th. Till 1 o'clock watching one, because once you started, you kind of get into it. You can't. So, but today I watched one, and it's a tearjerker. It was that Sweeney girl from Biggest Loser, the blonde.
Okay.
Right. Probably I'll start doing the show again. But anyway, and this dude comes back to this small town. He's got this watch that this medic in war who saved his life dropped, and he'd had it, and he'd been afraid to come back. But when he come back, and he wants to return the watch. Long story short, 2-hour movie later, it's the Sweeney girl and him are starting to fall for each other. Turns out it was her deceased husband's watch, and she had given it to him as a gift. I'm sitting there going, I'm sitting there watching this thing, just bawling, at the end of it. And then driving over here, I said, I got it. November 11th, I got the spirit. Reached over to my little Sirius XM, beep, beep, beep. Hallmark Christmas channel, put it right there in the old middle of the display button, and I listened to Jordan Sparks singing This Christmas while I drove over here to see you on November 11th.
See, yeah, we are brothers from a different mother, because you were singing it. I had to wait for the computer to restart so I could pull up for the recording device to all go down, and all you're doing is singing these Christmas carols, and I thought to myself, the damn warden got you on this crap already, doesn't she? Well, I got to hear this. And again, you can't even, why? Let me ask you this, because I'll give you this. There's some modern Christmas carols, or at least some modern artists that sing some of the old classics. You know what? I bet you're going to roll your eyes when I say it, but I'll play it for you at the end. But one of my bands, The Offspring, does Baby Please Come Home, and they put it out last year, and it sounded really good.
The warden loves Offspring.
But, there's certain songs, I don't need the hymnals till we're actually up on the week of Christmas. I don't need.
You don't want to turn and make Christmas about Christ.
I don't. Well, it reminds me of going. I don't know. It reminds me of going to long church sessions on Christmas Eve.
Catholic, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we had a few things. We had a few things going
Christmas Eve. That means I know what I'm doing the next 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't
got
need
to watch the whole Passion.
Well, and there's just some songs.
They're passing out loaves of bread and fish.
Well, no, that's more Easter.
Well,
but it was a long deal. No, I don't know. There's just
that is more Easter.
yeah. Washing feet and all that. Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Last suppers. Whole week dedicated to that one. I'm just saying it's there's just some that don't hit me right, and you know, like I love. Hey, man, when I decide I'm ready, when I decide that I'm ready to put myself in the place where you're at, and I'm fighting it. Like, you know, for example, I love me a Chick-fil-A peppermint shake. Haven't had one yet. Will not have one yet till I've decided it's time for candy.
So you're saying
I'm holding out till after Thanksgiving.
Well, and I'm admitting this is the earliest I have ever got into it in my life.
Now you got to be careful.
60 plus years old, 61, and I am already in it. I came in here tonight petting your dog, singing Christmas Carol or humming.
You've already had a good
Carol.
Christmas cry.
I've had a Christmas cry already.
Yeah.
This is the earliest I've been into it. And now all of a sudden I'm thinking, man, I'm excited. You're sitting there, you're getting rid of your computer. I'm on Amazon looking at Christmas presents.
Dude.
I've already got 3 presents here.
Well, no, I think it's a good idea. I will warn people. So my buddy Anthony Brownlee, we got to figure out one more 4-wheel drive for the family because all we have is my truck. And, you know, the wife's been driving the Mustang, which I'd like to put an end to that secretly. And my daughter's got the other car. So I talked to Anthony Brownlee, the guy that used to own Land Rover Denver.
Jeep you had for a while.
I gave it to my guy that built the deck.
I was going to say that would have been a perfect car for Taylor.
Well, it would have been, but see, the Jeep had some things that needed fixed, and my guy Lee, as we've talked about, is the Chuck Norris of anything with a tool.
Yeah.
So of course he knows how to fix all that stuff, and he had a Jeep lying around it. So he was able to make more out of it than I could have. But anyway, I talked to Anthony Brownlee from Land Rover Denver. He now owns a different car venture ship, and we were talking about he's like, I'll get you some, just tell me what you want. But he said, here's the thing, and I'm going to warn you, and this was back at the beginning of October, and this is a public service announcement for everybody if you haven't got the emails already, because some companies I know Eddie Bauer emailing out some stuff. If you can afford to get anything now, please get it now. Anthony said we are going to have supply problems come December, and it's going to be tough finding what. It's not going to be just go get whatever you want like we're used to come December. Which, you know what, probably isn't all bad. Because frankly, you and I, when we started this podcast, we talked about how I feel like Charlie Brown on Charlie Brown's Christmas because it's become too commercialized. But nonetheless, I know you still want to have the special gift. Get it now. If you wait, you might get bitten by it.
I ordered the warden's quote-unquote big gift, special gift. It will be delivered December 10th, and I ordered it 3 days ago.
Yeah, well,
December 10th is when it's supposed to be delivered.
You got to be careful because, again, who knows if that even changes, right? I've had a couple things just get canceled. Well, I'll tell you what. You remember back on my birthday, I told you I wanted a new guitar. You see that guitar right there?
Yeah.
That's not the color that I wanted. That's the guitar. But they could not get my color. So I finally just said, I saved so much money on that guitar. I was like, I'll tell you what, because I could tell what's coming. You're going to cancel it because I already saw the price if it goes up. That's the other thing. Prices are going up. Oh, yeah. For those that are wondering, since you can't see, it's a PRS Paul Reed Smith Custom 24. That's a 24 fret neck, so it's 2 frets longer than the usual. But I love those guitars, so I got the Whale Blue. Frankly, I always wanted that guitar. And I finally decided I'm going to break down and do it because the price was right. And Guitar Center had like 4 years of financing on it, so it's like $25 a month. But I went and bought it, and I wanted this really cool green one. But I just was like, you're never going to get the green one. Just send me the blue one.
I think you got to stick with the blue. I think the
blue was awesome.
Yeah, the blue's cool.
It is. You see the eagle inlays in there and all that.
Yeah, Why do you need so many guitars?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Is your thing with guitars my thing with guns?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one sounds sweet. Now, I've been playing again. Don't get me wrong. Hey, band's getting back together. And we might,
I saw D-Mac the other day. He's lost a lot of weight so he can get back on stage.
Yeah, he can. Maybe it won't smell like eggs when he gets going now. I don't know. We need a bass player.
Yeah, I found my bass. I don't know what once I loaned you my amp, I've never seen my amp again.
You didn't loan me my amp. I played through the other one.
Huh?
I played through one of my guitar
But
ones.
I gave you an amp.
No, you wouldn't let me have the
I
amp.
think I let you borrow the amp.
You didn't.
Amp's disappeared. I know
Well,
what the guitar is.
You gonna slap the bass?
No, I don't want it, man. I don't want to do that. No.
Okay.
You know, I got a
Yeah.
number of things I still want to try to do, I guess, in my life. I don't think it's a bass.
See, I will say this. Here's what's part of like if you're gonna play in a band, right? Then you got to play a show. Otherwise, why are you just playing in a band? But then when you play the show, everybody wants you to get people to come to it. And, we're not 20 years old. Like, we were the opening act. I think it drove the other guys in the band nuts. But me and D-Mac were like, look, we're playing at 7, okay? You want us to get anybody here? It's at 7. You tried to show up to 1 where I think we went on at 11. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. No. My people aren't around at 11, man.
I showed up to one of your shows after I had gone to dinner and stuff like that. So I came to shows. Sure enough, it was like 9 o'clock. You guys were done.
No, yeah. And it sucked because we played Scotty Doesn't Know for You, that song off Euro Trip.
Yeah, I don't really like the music you guys play.
I'm aware. But you're a good friend, so you showed up to support
Why don't
anyway.
you guys do a holiday show?
Well, first, yeah. No.
That would be seriously.
Here's what I wanted to do. Like I
The
want
B flat band, the B flat street band.
Here's what I want to be. I want to be the band that plays on Halloween, St. Patty's Day, and like 4th of July. Fun little drinking nights. That's what we'll play. Thank you all.
How about New Year's?
All right, whatever. Well, yeah, maybe, whatever. New Year's is not that big a deal to me.
Yeah, me either.
I don't care about New Year's.
Yeah, you just remind me. The world's remind me I'm a year older.
Right, and we got to pay more bills. You know what it is? It's the start of the next bill cycle for me. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, you and I also you've had it in your professional life as far as being an athlete, where I'm sure you didn't, you probably had yourself some pretty fun New Year's Eves. But for me, like I had to work in radio. When you're the new guy in radio, you're always getting stuck with the New Year's shift and the Christmas shift and the Christmas Eve shift, right? And you and I have done a number of Bronco games. I can remember you guys being in Detroit and Tennessee.
And NFL games on Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Yeah, there's nothing like having a game on New Year's Day. You're like, well, you're not going to get out and tank it up because, you'll feel like butt tomorrow.
Yeah, but let me ask you, was there ever – so what caused – what's the celebratory stuff? When will you go have a couple? Is it still a New Year's? Is it 4th of July?
Tuesdays. It's really funny. I was walking out with Cos last night. I did the radio with Cos the last 2 Nuggets games. I'm walking out, and there's like a group of like 4 dudes. It's Wednesday night. And these dudes are loud, and, the 4 guys went to the game together, and it's, it's like 10 o'clock, right, 9:50, 10, and they're loud. Okay, they had some of them
They enjoyed the game.
They had some high-priced alcohol at the game today, right? And I'm thinking, they got to work to afford the tickets. I said, how bad are they going to feel tomorrow? And I think about that because I've told you this before. I still, and I don't envy you doing the Bronco games on Sunday because I say this on my show all the time. I watch the Bronco game on Sunday as a fan, and as a fan, I'm having me some bad food, cold beer, and a few shots whenever they score a touchdown. Now, last year we had to start doing, they didn't get a punt blocked, let's do a shot. Because if you waited for a touchdown, you never got to do a shot last year. So, honest to God, it got so bad, they didn't give up a first down, do a shot. And we were looking for any reason to finally do a little fireball. But I want to watch that Sunday game as a fan. And then I record all of them, and then I go back during the week. And I know I can fast through all the commercials if I don't really care about them on offense or whatever. And I'll go back and watch the game now as an analyst, right? But I don't want to give my Sundays up for Broncos games.
Yeah, I get that. See, I freak people out because I have never drank during sporting events, but Bronco games in particular. And it weirds people out.
Forever.
Yeah, but even as a fan, look, man, we can have fun with it because that's what this podcast is and say I'm cheap. But I think you also know when you've saved up your money to go to a game like I used to have to, I ain't getting ripped and not forget. I want to pay attention to what I'm there for. You know what I mean?
Well, I was at the AFC Championship game that they beat New England 2018.
Right.
Super Bowl. It was on about 6 weeks ago, and I was at my little local pub, and I'm like, dude. So I watched the entire game, had a few drinks, and I'm going, I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
See?
I mean, we sat there and tailgated 4 hours for the game. Somebody had brought 96 Jell-O shots, and we had 0 by the time the game started.
See, at one point, what I wish I could get to, and I don't think I'm going to get there the way life feels right now, I would like to get to the point where I buy the motorhome, and I go down to the game, and I tailgate the way that I saw some people do it when I was a kid.
And then spend the night there?
Maybe. But, yeah, well, the guy, I'll never forget, it was Broncos versus Chicago Bears. And I remember I freaked the guy out that I was with. His name was Bill. Really nice guy. Took me to it. It was like it must have been 87 or something, 88. I don't know. But it was, we went to the Bronco Bears game, right? And he took me, and I always tell the famous story of, he took me to a tailgate, we're hanging out, and he goes, hey, go over to the next motorhome, give me some chili, go in there, it's Sammy Winder. Sammy Winder was eating before he went and got dressed and played the game. And then we got done. They went back to the motorhome, and they ate their dinner, prepped and ate their dinner as they waited for everybody to clear out of the parking lot. And I freaked him out during the game because they got in a wide set, right? They went 5 wide in the goal line, the 5-yard line. I just go, I always going to run it in. And he's looking at me like, what? You're always going to run it here. He's in the shotgun. They're going to run it here. And sure enough, John takes a snap and runs it in. He's like, how'd you know that? You're 10. I was like, that's what they always do. You know what I mean? Because we watched football that religiously that I knew if Elway was in the shotgun. Dude, it was Dan Reeves, right? He wasn't running the West Coast. He was the first, spread him out and run. He didn't care about Elway's well-being. No. Run him into the end zone. No. You know what I mean?
But the two big plays Elway did with Reeves, between the quarterback draw and the little shovel pass.
Yeah.
They owned
Steve
that
Sewell,
in
right?
the red zone, right? They owned that in the red zone. Well, but I'm different. I'm to the point now, I don't want to go to games.
I'm with you.
Because the pricing of everything, the inconvenience when you got to go to the bathroom, now, saying that, I went to the Cowboys-Giants game. My son got married this year, and so we went down there, and it was he got married on a Monday, and so we're in Dallas on a Saturday. Sunday, Warren goes, hey, I can get tickets, the 50-yard line, but we're on the up section a little bit. You want to go? And I said, yeah. It was literally 1.5 miles, 2 miles from the hotel. Ubered there for like $10. Boom, boom, boom. Walked in, sat there. Well, they got great hot dogs there. I mean, these are like big, fat, foot-long, 18-inch hot dogs. They were awesome. And unbelievable stadium, first of all. I mean, makes Mile High look like a dump, to be honest with you. This place is – Jerry's World is – you've been there, right? Jerry's World.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, Jerry's World is –
it's a modern marvel.
It's unbelievable. And I had a blast. But guess what? I didn't have a dog in the fight. I wasn't going there to get blitzed or anything like that. We had a couple beers. But when I watch the Broncos, and I put those TVs outside under my deck, man, we sit out there. I got a cooler, the thing I'd pick up, I pick up some beer and a bag of ice. I got my little cooler. I don't even have a fridge. I got my little cooler out there. And we sit there, got my chairs, got these little cheap outdoor chairs we bought. And man, I'm hollering. I mean, 2 weeks in a row, I'm standing up hollering, But I can go grab my own cold beer. There's a bathroom I know to work. If I got to do the business, I can go upstairs in my own bathroom, right? So I'd rather watch a game like that. But it's a party for me. But I'm at my house.
You're at your house, and I mean, look, there's a couple things here, and I think we got to get back to the stadium topic in just a second. It's funny that you bring it up because I think that's going to be a key part of the Bronco ownership ultimately. Moving forward. But first off, for you and I, we've spent a lot of our adult lives in stadiums, and I'm not complaining. I love what I do. I feel blessed to do what I do every day. This is what I wanted to do. I made it my goal when I got into college that this would be what I would do. So I'm not complaining, but there's an element of work to it, right? Like, I love I used to love going to live games, but now, like you said, when you spend 8 hours in a stadium doing something, when you have your free time, I don't want to be in a stadium again. And that's one of the things that changes when you do what we do, and you even further because you played. And on top of it, dude, you know how it is. When you're working like we are, you sit courtside. I am field level for every football game I've watched forever. The only time I've not been field level in the last decade for any football game I've been at was when I was last year and during the pandemic and they made me go in the stands. And even then, I'm walking wherever I wanted to because ain't nobody else in there. It's hard when you can't be that close. It's not the same. And the other thing I got, Scotty, is look, I am extremely happy with where I am in my talk show career. I love doing the thing with Nate. I love being here with you and on the same station. But yeah, I'd be lying. I'd be lying to anybody listening to this thing to not say that it didn't hurt me that I ever got taken off the Broncos broadcast because of politics and not anything that I did. I'd have kept that job. I'd have done that job until, they told me you're not safe on the sideline anymore.
Right.
But that was my team, and I loved it. And it hurts that maybe some people around this, the decision didn't fight for me a little bit more, even when I was just simply taken off of it. But it's how this thing goes, right?
The people that made those decisions aren't invested in the team or the real broadcast, and they're just hired people.
I was a casualty of other things they wanted to do.
They don't understand passion, and they don't understand. They just don't understand that, and it's why you probably do it for Altitude, why you do the thing on Sunday, which I'm like thinking, dude, because I'd like you to come over to my house, have some beers with me, talk some football, because I'm usually, with people that don't really understand, and I'm saying, well, here's I said, yeah, but this guy, I said, that was a terrible throw. Yes, it was, but you can tell he's used, that guy's supposed to cut it off another yard.
That was not a properly run route.
That was a bad, and so, I don't know, I'd like to do that, but I don't want to sit there on a Broncos game.
But see, these are my people. Like the thing, and the show's been cool this year. Listen to it, the No Huddle postgame show. We're on for an hour commercial free after. We've had so many people, and you got a taste of it today. You and I did a show together after the Cleveland game. There's a lot of passionate people that just need to get some stuff off their chest, and I enjoy being the conductor of that because that's how I was when Jim Ryan was doing the Gridiron Grill on KOA. That's who I was listening to, and he was my outlet. And so I almost find it an honor to kind of be there to be the ringleader for these folks. That doesn't mean I doesn't wish I couldn't come watch a game with you. But, like you and I were kind of touched because when we did that show on that Friday after the Browns game, we got some old school Bronco fans that had seen a few games, right?
Yeah.
So it meant a lot to me that they found the station.
They were done with the
They weren't happy.
The apathy that it felt like the Broncos. And I'll go back. You had Shelby Harris on. I loved that whole interview that you guys did with him. And I even said on our show, I said, but Shelby's got to understand. This is a passionate fan base that before Pat Bowlen got sick and then eventually passed away, and you and I were talking about this the other day, they had more Super Bowl appearances than he had losing seasons.
Yeah.
And people still remember that. And so now when you go 4 or 5 years in a row, and let's be honest, between that Raider game and that Cleveland game, there wasn't a whole lot of passion being seen on the field. And fans react to that. So you could say we didn't believe on you in Dallas, and we can look at numbers, and Dallas averaging 450 yards and 34 points and blah, 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 blah. But we just watched you play. Even the Washington game wasn't the most passionate game you've ever played in.
I will tell you this, because I do appreciate Shelby is so – I feel like Shelby's real about it, which I appreciate. And you and I have done player shows, and we know half the time you don't even get paid attention to. Shelby was paying attention to us, but I had a few more points. I've got points saved. Like if he wanted to really get feisty, I was going to say, well, Shelby, your offense made you go out there and save the game twice against Washington. That's why I didn't believe. Or I showed up to a Raider game where they don't have a coach, and you guys didn't look like you really wanted to be there. But that, and I've got this in my back pocket. I'll let everybody, as podcast listeners, know. If we ever get to the point again, I'm just going to tell him point blank, look, man, I get your frustration with things around here and people doubting you, but understand this. I was born into this fan base. I have cried tears over this team. I've had good Sundays, bad Sundays. I've had Mondays ruined. I've had friendships formed. I've had relationships ended. And I've nearly lost a job because of this football team. When you're done with this team and they ain't paying you anymore, You may not consider yourself a Bronco, but I'm in this thing, and this is my team. And you will never feel the way about that franchise that most of us that are true fans do.
Yep.
So you may not like. I get that like you said, you hear ignorant comments if you're a player. The fans don't always understand all the problems or what's leading to some of this stuff. But I'll tell you this: they are more married to this thing, and you're just dating it. So just people say what they say because we love the damn Broncos in this town.
Yep.
And you have to understand when you come here, this ain't like other cities. You are the show. You are the show. And every one of you players gets treated for the most part like kings.
Yes.
You are a Bronco player. You are royalty in this town, man. So, and again, I like, again.
But that conversation you need to have with Shelby? It can't be. It's got to be a time you get him in the station.
We can see each other,
and when you can see each other, so he can see what I just saw, and not over a phone. Because you might okay, and then all of a sudden then you get Brent Musburger and he doesn't listen to half what you doesn't listen to half what you say.
Even checked in. Did you hear that part? We made fun of it today.
That's what I was going to the gym today when you guys replayed. I went, "Ooh, he ain't coming back on this show."
I was just like, "What happened there?" Yeah. But anyway, hey, real quickly,
you know what that reminded me of that? Dave and I were doing a show, and we got Tommy Lasorda on. One of the great characters of all time in sports. Not just Major League Baseball, in sports, Tommy Lasorda. So we get him on. And calling in, we're talking. All of a sudden, somebody, hey, guys, hold on a second. No, we're live on air. Someone's calling me. Hold on. Puts us on hold. I go, I think you put us on hold, dude. We're having a conversation. We're still live on air. Comes back about 45 seconds, a minute later, goes, oh, sorry about that. I had to get this over. Anyway, what I was saying, and he's doing this whole Tommy spiel. He's great. Oh, hold on. Got another call. Puts us on hold again. We're on hold for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes now. I'm not even sure. There wasn't music, but Dave and I, all of a sudden, and this was kind of chemistry that Dave and I had. Dave and I started doing our own music. And somehow I started humming, he's humming, and we got and we go the whole minute and a half, not saying a word, but just singing to each other like some music. Tommy goes, sorry about that, fella. Oh, no problem, Tommy, come back on. So, listen, they're doing us a favor. I understand that, but you got to do, you got to do what you can with what you got to work with.
All I'm asking is be engaged in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Or let's not bother. It's okay. That's why it's funny because we had Zeke Najee on today, and I got to give you credit because, again, you and I talking last night, I just woke up and I go, man, let's get Zeke Najee on. And it's you and Vic, and so the Nuggets give the big hitters to you guys. But I was like, man, that kid had a game.
And he speaks well, and he says, that was a good interview you guys did. I'd still like to talk to him because like I told him last night, when you go up, and he said, listen, you got to, the timing, where you are, the space, someone's, near you. And my point, when someone's near you and there's going to be something up top, don't dipsy do it. More guys get their shot blocked in the pro level, and I always say dipsy do because of, what's the name, but you go up and you pull it down, you ain't going to rise back over that. That dude's 7-1. Once you bring it down, you are done.
Yeah, windows closed, right?
So there's going to be a collision anyway, and once you bring it down, you have now indicated to the officials and everybody else, softness is on the horizon. So now you do the dipsy-do and go swinging around, unless a guy just is stupid and swings down, which is what Turner did last night. This is going to be a block shot, or you're going to throw it, like Porter does, underneath the backboard. It's going to hit the bottom of the backboard. It ain't nothing going to happen. Ain't going to get no call. You can fall down. It ain't going to be no call. But if you go up and you go, I know there's going to be a collision. I'm going to try to dunk on it. He may block it. But I'll tell you what, 8 out of 10 times, you're going to get the foul because you went up hard. That was my – and my whole thing with Zeke, and I was listening to you guys talk to him today. And he goes, I was feeling, but no, he ain't. He's got an NBA body, but he doesn't know how to be physical yet. And when he learns how to use that body, that's the potential in Zeke Najee. First of all, and Nate said it, dude can shoot, But when he learns how to use that NBA body, that's when he takes his next step.
And it's just funny because I was thinking on your first thought there, I want to get back to Zeke, but you were talking about once you come down. Remember Michael Porter? Michael Porter was going down, and he did a fake and let one guy fly by, then went back up, and a guard got him anyway. And I was thinking that when you were describing that scenario, once you stayed down, you know what I mean? Now they got you because now they're all jumping at you.
But see, here's what he doesn't understand how to do. He makes a move, go by it, and he's just going to go. And that fake, you're peeking.
Who else is around?
You're looking for second and third because once I got that fake, I know that guy's gone. I got him. All right, anybody else? Oh, good. Now I'm going to go up and dunk it, or I'm going to – oh, here's another one. Power dribble into the guy, cut him off as he's coming to me. Now he has to run into me as I lay it in.
Okay, so since you heard the interview, why don't you tell me, some of our thoughts there. Now again, I like Zeke. I like Zeke last year. I'm not saying Zeke's a finished product. Talking to you, you always educate me on maybe what some guys need. But if you're Michael Malone right now, let's be honest. I don't think it's a full freebie, but without Jamal Murray, I don't think any of us fully know what to expect. And it's early. We're not to Christmas. You've always kind of told me Christmas is sort of all right, you know what I mean? The Lakers and the good teams, the Heat when they had it going, the Golden State. Christmas is where you start getting a little serious about things. Is this not the time of year to play a little bit more Zeke Naji and see what you got?
And I heard Eric LaQual, we had him today, and I think
I heard that
last week. And he said what I always say with the NBA: first 20 games, you got to try to get through, and you experiment with line shifts in hockey or whatever. The middle 40 is when now all of a sudden you establish this is who we are. Boom, boom, boom. We're a good road team. We're a tough defensive team. We're a score at will team, whatever. And then the last 20, you start setting yourself up for seeding. Start setting yourself up now for, all right, because, beginning of the season, and Hubie Brown told me this years and years ago, the first part of the season you steal games. Like right now, if you're really good, you know who you are, good teams go out and steal games. And they start the season 16-4, 15-5, 17-3, because they know who they are. And if this team had Jamal Murray, anything less than like a 15-5 start would be disappointing.
Right.
Because you would know who you are. Now, I agree with you. They have a little bit of a pass only because Murray's gone. And I, by the way, hate always being right. But I told you, if Michael Porter Jr. takes the next level, this team would be dominant, be ready to go. And he hasn't shown that, has he? And so they're just kind of but you also know they're a nice team. You can tell. Listen, and I heard you talking about Joker today. Joker's a real deal. I don't know if, I know McKinnon gets a lot of love in this town and Elway, and I know when Alex English was here, I said it 5 years ago, and I'll repeat it till he's done. Joker will be the best player that's ever played for this franchise. You youngsters growing up right now, you're because there's guys our age that grew up and got to see Alex English, or guys older than us even, or little kids, 35, 38-year-olds, 40-year-olds saw Alex English. You probably grew up.
Oh, I remember Alex.
Yeah.
You remember Alex and Fat Lever.
And this guy's going to be the best to ever play for this franchise. And so all these young kids right now, I hope you realize this guy is the real deal. That they're only this good because of him.
Right. Right.
I'm just telling you.
Well, look how hard last night was. It was fun because you didn't have your guy, but, it's like rooting for your kids' team, right? I'm hoping for something good, but if you lose, you lose.
Hey, those are one of those games, though, and you mentioned about Malone. He's great at those games. You don't want to sustain him for 7 or 8.
No.
Like if you had that lineup for the next 10-day games, you'd probably go 3-7.
See, you always told me, and it's something that I think about, because I always thought it was Earl Boykins that we were talking about at the time. You take guys that are used to bench minutes, and then they got to go to the first line. Well, then they're not as effective, and then your bench is suffering too, and it just screws everything up. That's why you like the big deep rotation. Same with the Emmanuel Sanders was always told to me by Jeff Legwold. You know what happened to Emmanuel Sanders when he had to carry around the first corner instead of the second because DT was gone? You weren't always wide open anymore, were you? And then you got frustrated. Now Emmanuel's a hell of a second option. He is a great second wide receiver.
Option.
But dude, you're not quite the same dude when you got to take corner number one, who's usually the lockdown on the team.
Now let's go back to Broncos and let me ask you about a guy that you and I both really like, Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
Tim Patrick got put in that situation last year and kind of handled it, didn't he? So is he a 1A, 1B guy?
Look, I've been saying it's hard for me to have the record here, but if we could get the tapes from the other spot, I've been saying since he showed up, I like Tim Patrick. He's got a big physical body, okay? Now, look, I still like me some Cortland Sutton, but if you're making a decision between those two on the contract next year, well, one dude's been hurt an awful lot and the other isn't.
Well, who showed up at the Dallas game?
Tim Patrick. No, I'm with you. Look, he's just a big, hard-working dude. Now,
but going back to the Emmanuel Sanders thing, when DT goes out, now he's got to be the number one guy and carry the receiving core. He couldn't do it.
Well,
right now, you had Drew Lock the start of the 1 year and all that. So I get that, okay. But last year you lost Cortland Sutton, who was supposed to be your number one guy. And Jerry Jeudy, is supposed to be the future and all that. But let's be honest, he struggled last year.
Yeah, he was a rookie wideout.
So you think Tim Patrick faced a lot of number one corners?
He did. And I'll tell you this, another reason to back you up, Tim Patrick runs good routes. That's why he and Teddy have great chemistry. You want to know why I think we're seeing some of what we're seeing with Cortland Sutton? Cortland Sutton made his hay as a Bronco, being able to jump up over you and you just being an impossible matchup
Make
if you
a tough
give him a
catch
50-50 ball. Yeah.
But not a great route runner.
And what are we seeing out of Teddy? Teddy's putting the ball in the spot. Now, he and Cortland haven't always hooked up, and I'm sure some of it's Teddy's fault. I'm not letting him off the hook. But don't be surprised if you were to actually go in the coach's room and find out, well, Cortland overran the spot by a couple, because Teddy's throwing to the spot. That's the thing. That's why with Teddy Bridgewater, I wonder what Teddy could be if he were given 3 years with the same core and they could get it together the way Manning did. Because Manning's guys knew exactly. That's why he went to Duke. He went to Duke so they knew exactly this is where the route ends and this is where I'm throwing the football. You better be there, right? Now, I don't think we're going to find that out, depending on what the Broncos choose to do, but you're going to have some tough decisions, man. I don't know. You and I have always kind of had our reservations about Handler. I love his speed, and he's shown better hands than I thought maybe he'd bring to the table, but the guy is small.
I wish he was still playing here because I think even just a threat of him changes a lot of options.
How much did the spacing change for routes to be run with Jerry there? Jerry makes
changed.
Guys back off. That's the problem with Cortland and Patrick together. They're kind of the same guy, so corners come up a little more because they're not worried about getting beat too often by that, right? So you make a false step on Jerry Jeudy, and he'll show you he's gone. I don't know, man. Look, it's been fun to watch. That was fun to watch the other day. But, let me ask you this. They got Philadelphia coming up. Are you convinced that they're – I'm not convinced you're going to give me the same dedication to the run.
I love what I saw last week against Dallas. That was just phenomenal.
It's the blueprint for them.
Yeah, it is exact blueprint for them. Now, saying that, and to go back to Shelby also, do it twice. And you won this game, and we talked to Leggy this week, and I said this to him too. You won this game because you dominated both fronts, offensive and defense. And no matter what you want to say, that's really the first time defensively you've won a front in about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. That defensive front last game dominated Dallas. That offensive line dominated Dallas. You want to make everything easy around you? Pass coverage, pass patterns. Well, dominate up here. Everything else becomes easy, right? Everything becomes easy. Can't really run it effective as much anymore. And then we know you're going to pass. Stand in that pocket more than 2, 3, trouble.
Well, and the other thing that went right for them, this is why people are always, you and I get it all the time, and I know our buddy Stink gets it too. Why are you guys so hard on Noah Fant? Well, I'll tell you why, okay? That's a big old thick dude. I've seen that guy up close. He looks like the first guy off the bus, as we like to say, okay? Saubert was the one, remember? Saubert, the tight end, 82, caught that pass, broke a couple tackles, got the first down. Tim Patrick, who's not near as big as either of the tight ends I just mentioned, got the ball short, had 3 corners to him and in. He broke one and eluded the other 2. And again, that's why they throw those short passes. Now, trust me, I get a little frustrated when you're constantly throwing short of the sticks, but that's modern football. Everyone's playing the Vic Fangio shell where they keep you in front, so they're not going to give you the deep pass. And they're trying to take away the sure first down, so you go to that option. Guys have got to make a play.
Let's be honest, tackling in the NFL over the last decade has really gone down because no one ever practices it anymore. So you're hoping that guy breaks 1 tackle. And if you throw it at 8 and you need 10, break 1 tackle, you're going to get a first down.
See, you're absolutely right. And on top of it, that's why, like, when we talk about Noah Fant, man, it's a corner. One corner's been bringing that guy down.
But I've been saying this from day one. I even said when they were winning games, when he catches the ball, he doesn't have his eyes up the field. He's looking at a guy, and if he sees a guy, he's getting small. He's Claude Lemuin. He's Claude Lemuin and starting to go into the turtle shell before the guy even hits him.
Okay, so let me ask you about this, because you're big into the psychology part of the sports. You love talking to Rick Perea back once during in the day. Do you is there something to? Is this a guy has Noah been hurt so much that he needs to get the mental side of that right?
Probably,
from what you're talking about.
I think he probably has some issues upstairs, and I'll ask you this. Would you just describe his body? You just said big, thick, strong, pretty good hands, seems pretty good athlete. He didn't even start in college.
I know.
So is there maybe a reason that a guy that looks like Tarzan is getting as much airtime as Jane?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, he did that same thing in college, right? He wasn't even the starter at college.
Dude, let me ask you this. When you look at him and you look at a Daniel Graham, don't you kind of expect the same kind of ability to block out of it? He can't block anybody. He might be able to. He can't block those linebackers anyway.
Well, we had Shannon Sharp on when Shanahan went into the Ring of Fame. He said, talk about conversations that he had with what was our old offensive line coach, Pastor?
Alex Gibbs.
He go, what was his name? 84. 84. Can you just get in front of somebody? He says, you got all those muscles. He goes, they make them kind of muscles, coach. They ain't these kind of muscles. These are catch football and run away from them muscles. But even Shannon got to work. I didn't need to power a guy. I just got to get in front of a guy. I got to make a guy go around me 2 steps one way or the other. I don't have to blast a guy. And Shannon kind of learned that when Shanahan came back, kind of figured out, because Shanahan, as he said, also said, dude, we can't put you out when everybody's going to know we're running because you're out of the game. We need to be able to run when you're in the game. And so he learned to just get in front of dudes. Fan don't even do that.
I know.
Hey, Fan's close to me to say the S word. I'm really close to say he's an S word.
I know.
You know what the S word is?
Soft. It's the biggest 4-letter word for an athlete. I know that.
Nastiest thing you can call an athlete.
Well, it's tough, man, and it's real quickly, because I want to get your thoughts on Nikola Jokic too. But you mentioned the stadium, all right? Did the Broncos, like you talked about how much you enjoyed the game day experience, the Broncos, we got to remember, that's a 20-year-old stadium now. It's crazy for you and me because we were working together when that thing opened.
We were working.
That's how long we've known each other.
To get the taxpayer dollar on it.
Yeah, yeah. So, but you kind of are going to need one of these modern buildings like the Rams just opened up, or what's going on Atlanta. I mean, and you're going to need an owner that's probably got the cash to build a building, right? I don't know you're going to get a bunch of taxpayer dollars anymore.
Well, you might be able to get the 1% of 1% that they did to finance Coors Field. It's been good. Saved downtown, made downtown what it is. It helped pay off the Broncos pretty. And once again, it goes on all the tourist dollars too, so everybody who comes in the state and does stuff. Maybe. But you know what? And I remember, because we were trying to get it to pass, and I was saying it then that they need to put at least
roof.
a retractable roof on it.
Absolutely.
And at the time, it was going to be $20 million more. And I went, okay, right? Okay, it's $20 million more. But I said, you can have Super Bowls. Oh, they are going to have a Super Bowl in a cold weather place. Well, guess what?
Detroit got one.
Detroit got one.
Minnesota got one.
Indianapolis got one.
New York
Minnesota
got
one. New York got one.
And New York didn't have a
And
roof
they didn't
on
even
it.
have a
But
roof on it. But imagine you're going to tell me Denver, Colorado, you don't think that the NFL peeps and sponsors would like to come to Colorado for a week before the football and go up and ski for, 2 or 3 days, come back down and have a league meeting up in Vail for 2 days? You don't think the owners would love to fly into Vail for 2 days for league meetings?
Scotty, now they're traveling the combine and the draft. You don't think they wouldn't mind having that here somewhere, build a facility? That's why they're going to need to – I think you need to get that done. You need to get a roof. I'm wondering, honestly, how long before the NFL decides, with as big as their TV products becoming in prime time, how long before they just tell all the guys, you better go get a roof? I know we're used to weather games, and that's part of the fun and the old kind of Norman Rockwell game of the Ice Bowl and all that crap. But come on, man. What did we have a couple weeks ago where it's just raining cats and dogs out in San Fran? You're trying to watch a Sunday night game. It's just ruined by the fact that you can't, it's miserable. Now, do I find that fun? I do, but I don't think the NFL does, and that doesn't help your fantasy football stuff for that week, right? I wouldn't be shocked if one day we see the NFL playing in these big dome buildings like every other league. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, give me your thoughts on Joker.
Best player that's ever going to play for the Nuggets.
What did you think of the stuff the other night? Because I think you heard us ask Zeke Najee. I thought it was funny because, look, I've been there. I've been there where you've upset the biggest dude in the place, and you're just like, whoa, all right, whoa. And Zeke was like, all right, we all need to just calm it down. Yeah. I thought you could see that look on the face of everybody there.
Well, I said to Kaz, I was doing the game with the radio, and we got off air or whatever. I said, people, there'll be a bunch of people on the internet. Oh, he pushed him in the back, blah 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 blah, and there was, right? I said, there ain't gonna be any athletes, and there ain't gonna be any older athletes that played in the old era. Nary one's gonna have a problem with what Joker did. And sure enough, the next day, Shaq, Charles, they were like, eh. In fact, they were pissed off. Richard Jeff, they were pissed off that Morris didn't get a suspended a game. Also, he said, "You don't do that. You don't. I mean, and then the same thing because what's his name was saying, well, you hit him in the back. Well, then don't turn around." Shaq goes, "Hey, you hit me that hard."
Ernie, you talk about Ernie.
He said, "Ernie, you hit me that hard." He said, "You better not turn around because I'm gonna either hit you in the face or hit you in the back of the head. One of the two." And he's right. And having given and received a few cheap shots in my life, when a dude hits you that hard, the Morris hit Joker, and he hit him hard, and you turn around, you're trying to get away with it. You're trying to go, oh no, that was just as Spolstra said, a take foul. No one. We saw the replay. That was a shoulder in the rib cage while you're in the air. You hit him hard.
Shoulder, elbow, and almost knee to knee.
It almost got him with the knee. That would almost be a defenseless receiver call in the NFL.
Hockey, they're sending the enforcer after your ass next play.
And Joker is the enforcer. But I love what Isaiah Thomas said on
ESPN or whatever.
No, it was NBA TV. He goes, and somebody said, well, look at his face. He did not even lay in motion. He goes, listen, first of all, people don't understand how tough this kid is. This is Isaiah Thomas talking. He said, and notice this. He delivered that blow and then stood there. So people started to walk up to him, and then they start backing off.
Yeah. Nobody got all the way up there, right?
So you want to question it, whether he is a cheap shot or he hit him and then he faced some music. So I give him some props on that. And listen, anybody who says they wouldn't have done the same thing, if you're playing a competitive game, the game's over too.
And you've been hacked a bunch that night?
And you've been hacked anyway, and the game's over. You just there's 2 minutes to go, and you're up 17, and a guy hits you that hard? Really? What was he expecting?
Well, and the other thing, Spolstra was like, well, if you turned around, that could have been 10 times worse. How? I'll tell you this. Another reason why you don't walk away, in my opinion, If you stand there like you're talking about, then I think Joker shoves Morris. I don't think he would have punched him, but he shoves him.
He wouldn't have punched him.
And then we don't get to the point that we
he'd
did.
have walked up to his face and chest bumped him.
We'd have had something.
Yeah.
We'd have had something.
We still would have had something.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, because to your point, I'd said the same thing on the radio. You're going to run away like you're just going to go to the foul line and wait for the free throws? BS, man. The hell you're doing that to me and I'm not coming and getting something? You really are just going to stand there and don't think the dude's coming after you to say anything?
Don't you think that the fans, I heard somebody say, it was great, said he represented all of us fans in Colorado. We're tired of being, flown over and looked by and disrespected, and no one thinks about us. They don't add us in these, and they don't talk about us here. And he said, Joker stood up for all of us. I went, whoa, okay.
Well, I think we're also all sick of him. The guy comes out with cuts and scrapes. I guess I will say, because of you, I have more empathy. And Shaq went and said it the other night. I'm sure you agreed with. He said that when you're a big dude, just because I don't move doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, and it doesn't mean that the foul rules don't apply the same to me as a dude. Why am I allowed to get hacked and smacked? And again, you're not moving me, but it doesn't mean that it's still not a foul. I thought we were reffing the same game.
Right.
Didn't you even say that on the air? I think you said that day where the guards go flying so they get all the calls. Meanwhile, guys like you and Shaq, and we could go on and on and on of all the big dudes that's played in the NBA,
John Stockton, who was a little dude, set some of the greatest screens in the world, but he also was smart and knew that they don't call little guys for offensive fouls when it's on a big guy. And so he would set that screen that went from one block to the other block for Karl Malone. And he would come over, and you kind of got your back to him, and he would come over and take his little forearm and elbow and come in to set that screen with a little thrown elbow right to your kidney every time. Freaking pop, you kind of bend you, and now Malone comes off of it, and he's open. So finally got me one time like that. Next time he went through that thing, I opened up and hit him with a bow across his head and knocked his little ass down and beat him on the screen. Now I got a foul. I don't know if I ever got hit that hard by him ever again.
Well, you let him know.
Hey, but they never called it on him. Go back and watch video of him on him setting screens, and you'll be shocked how many times you saw him, just popping dudes and everything.
I got to tell you, and again, look, I was not a bigger guy growing up. I was the runt. And my dad used to always tell me, at some point you're going to have to punch the bully. We can talk to whoever, you can try to this, but at some point you got to show the bully you ain't taking it, and then we see if he's still the bully. Okay? And I know that may be old school thinking for people, and it doesn't work in every situation. I will ask you this. I am positive Markieff Morris's ribs were moved around a little bit. Some of that stuff I think was a little overdone, but I promise you that dude couldn't breathe. And his back had to hurt, and his neck had to hurt.
He did miss the next game.
Do you think he's going to be that kind of bully anymore, at least around Joker?
Well, now we, then his twin brother.
Well, his brother can say what his brother will get his turn. Markieff didn't say anything. Markieff sent out a tweet that said, "Joker won, Morris nothing." Okay?
Yeah.
That's already a little bit of a different tone, right?
Yeah, a little bit of a different tone.
Because he knows he's got to see him again before his brother shows up. So.
Well, So now the rumors are that the two brothers purchased tickets for that game at the end of November.
The Jokic brothers.
In Miami. And then I had a little birdie call me and say, by the way, I'm hearing their front row tickets.
Yeah, they're not going to be having too many ushers between them. And this will be interesting. You know what I think happens? Not much. Did you hear what Udonis Haslem said? He basically said Joker's not a bad guy. Joker's not a cheap guy. I truly believe he didn't mean to do this. We all just need to let it go. Because I think Haslem knows this ain't. At the end of the day, we like a little spit and fire in our rivalries.
Yeah.
I'll admit to you, I'm a big hockey guy. I didn't mind the Avs stuff. I don't want to see Draper bleeding. And you don't want a Todd Bertuzzi situation where we all just feel sick when it's all done, right? Because I can remember I had to cut tape after that thing the next day. We got calls from Vancouver, or even the Vancouver fans were like, all right, that I didn't want to go in there. So we don't need something spilling onto the court that's not about a basketball game.
True. Well, I agree with that.
So,
but don't start no shit, won't be no shit.
That's the simple. See, some of the reactions I saw the day after, I was like, folks, I thought that was like the universal rule. You know, again, poke the bear, tug the cape, whatever you want to relate it to. Yeah. That's how it is. And Chris Dempsey put it best. If we were out in the park and that happened, the whole playground's fighting.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right, real quickly, before we sign off here, repeat after me here. Take a deep breath, let it out. I, Scott Hastings.
I, Scott Hastings.
Have all of December to enjoy Christmas music.
Have all of December to enjoy Christmas music.
I don't need it prior to Thanksgiving.
I won't listen to it after I get home tonight. Say goodnight, Andy.
Good night, Andy.